Americans born in Jerusalem will not have Israel as their country of birth on their passports. The Supreme Court struck down a congressional law that allowed them to do so, even though in practice it was never implemented. The court ruled 6-3 that Congress overstepped its bounds when it approved the passport law in 2002. The key question in the case involves the status of Jerusalem. The U.S. doesn't recognize it as Israel's capital and says the city's status should be resolved between Israel and the Palestinians. Another political hot potato is the U.S. State Department policy of stamping the passports of Americans born in biblical Judea and Samaria with the pro-Palestinian term West Bank. The Lessard family lives in Givat Ze'ev, a thriving community of 12,000 residents just 2 miles from Jerusalem. Washington calls it part of the occupied territories in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. But some say that the State Department is going too far when it records the birthplace for Americans like the Lessard's children.
We have home births. So he was born here, really in the West Bank, as the Americans like to call it. We call it Judea and Samaria. This is Jewish land here. It's been Jewish land since the time of Abraham.
In Jerusalem, an estimated 1,000 Americans are born each year, and their documents say only Jerusalem. No country is recorded for their birth. It's the only place in the world where that's the case. Yisrael Medad says it's the principle that matters.
It is very, shall we say, injurious to Israel's position in the political diplomatic world, and doesn't make any sense.
According to Medad, no one has ever declared the West Bank a state, and even the Palestinians don't call it that. But the State Department insists on using it as an official location.
They're engaged in political diplomatic creationism. They're creating a state that doesn't exist. They take away Israel from Jerusalem, but they add West Bank to Ramallah, Nablus, or Bethlehem, or Shiloh, or Alon Shvut.
In response, the State Department told CBN News that the final political status of Jerusalem has been in dispute since 1948 as a result of the long-standing Arab-Israeli conflict. The U.S. government has pursued a policy of encouraging the parties to that conflict to settle all outstanding issues, including the final status of Jerusalem, through peaceful negotiations between the parties, with the support of the broader international community. Therefore, the U.S. government does not acknowledge the sovereignty of any state over Jerusalem. Regarding the West Bank, the State Department said the applicant can decide whether a settlement name or West Bank is listed as the place of birth. The Lessards say they probably won't pursue changes to their children's documents, but Medad says he wants to see the White House take action.
The White House should take the lead and tell the State Department, cut out all this bureaucracy. This is the situation. If it changes in some sort of future peace agreement, that's one thing. At the present moment, we all know Jerusalem is the capital. Judea and Samaria are being administered by Israel.